Welcome to another episode of Class Haven Farm. So what are we doing today? Well, today I thought I would have a fun day and show you my process of making ribs. I had Chicken Whisperer with me yesterday, splitting wood. He's actually out there right now splitting wood. And so I said, hey, buddy, what do you want for all this hard work you've been doing? He said, Dad, I want some ribs. So that's what we got going on today. So stay tuned and see how we do some ribs and some pork shoulder. I like to start my fire with charcoal first. And what I do is I do something called the minion method. So I'll fill up a chimney like this, dump it in here to my firebox, and then I'll take about 15 briquettes out and start them in the chimney. What I'll do when I get inside the firebox here, break them up into the minion method. All you're doing is you're moving your briquettes to the side and creating an empty space here in the middle. And then once your chimney gets going, then you just transfer this over here and put it right in the middle, so that way each side can start burning. While we wait on the chimney to get going, and that'll take about 15 minutes or so because there's not a whole lot of briquettes in there. While we wait on that to get going, I'll go ahead and start prepping our pork shoulder. So the pork shoulder that I'm using, I usually try to use smaller pork shoulders, so it's just under like 5.5 pounds. You can typically, depending on how you run your temperature, I'm going to run anywhere between 225 to 250 today. Probably take about an hour and a half per pound, so it shouldn't take too long to get the pork shoulder ready. And the ribs, I do the 3-2-1 method. I will say this Brinkmann Trailmaster, while I do have the little basket here in the center, which helps with fire control and all that, this thing's not the top of the line smoker, so sometimes my temperature can get up there a little bit, 275, something like that. So the 3-2-1 method, sometimes it might be 5 hours, sometimes it might be 4.5 hours. Just kind of depends on how it goes. So I'll go ahead and start prepping his shoulder, and then hopefully by the time I'm done with that, we can throw this on, start getting this going, and just kind of follow the process. Funny, the way everybody prepares barbecue is always different. Some people are probably watching this right now, watching me put mustard on this, and they're like, ew, why would you do that? Well, I'm doing it to help the rub stick. You hear people sometimes go, oh, you're just wasting your time wasting that. Well, here's one thing that I know. In all the years that I've been doing this and trying different ways and different things, this is what works the best for me. So this pork shoulder I injected last night. Just did a little mixture of apple cider vinegar, some salt. It's really, really simple, and it's an injection that you can pretty much use for anything. I just really, really like using it for pork, and I also like using it for chicken. So we injected it last night, and I don't like to season my stuff the night before. Some people do, and that's fine. I just don't like to. I like to do it while everything's cooking and getting ready, and then that way it gives me something to do while I'm waiting for the fire to get going. So the chimney's not too far away from going ahead and transferring into the firebox, so by the time I get done putting the rub here on our pork shoulder, it should be ready for me to go ahead and dump the chimney into the firebox so that we can get the fire going. I will, once I get the firebox going, then I will use wood the rest of the way. So today we'll be using a mixture of oak, sugar maple, and a little bit of cherry. I like using multiple woods to cook with, and when it comes to pork and chicken, I really like oak. I like a little bit of sugar maple, and I like to finish it off with some cherry. This rub that I'm using is just store-bought rub. It's 3 Little Pigs. Really, really like this rub, and I can get it from a store local to me here, which is even better. What do you think, Chicken Whisperer? So Chicken Whisperer's here. What do you think, buddy? He's over there splitting wood right now. Yeah. You ready for some ribs later on today?
Yeah.
So the chimney is perfect here. We'll go ahead and dump these in. And again, you just dump them there in the middle. Close your door. Open your damper all the way. Open your chimney cap all the way. And I'll go ahead and set my eye grill. Now I do have a new temperature gauge thing, but I'm not going to use it. Just using this one because I'm going to be standing next to this fire pretty much all day. And we'll give this probably about an hour or so to go ahead and get up to where I want it to get. And then we can start throwing wood on and start putting some meat on. Man, so while I'm over here cooking ribs, the kids are over here having fun splitting wood. I guess I need to get the splitter over here, huh?
Yep. It's all the wood. Well, most of it I split.
I got to re-record this because I didn't have my microphone on. So as you can see, we have just barely a little bit of blue smoke coming out, which is exactly what you want. This is the inside of the firebox. And I went ahead and already put the meat on. So there's the shoulder and there's the ribs. So the shoulder, I'm going to try to get up to, I want it to be at 160 degrees. And then when it gets to 160, I'll go ahead and pull it off and wrap it. And then once I wrap it, I'll leave it wrapped until it hits about 200, and then I'll pull it off and let it rest. And the ribs will sit in here for about 3 hours on smoke, and then we'll pull them after 3 hours, and we'll wrap them. Each hour I'll spray them down with some apple juice, just to kind of keep them moist and keep an eye on everything. So it looks like my internal temp in the barrel is sitting about 225 right now. It is a little after 9 o'clock in the morning. To kind of give us an idea how long it's going to take to finish this out. We'll see how it goes. So today was supposed to be an easy day. We weren't supposed to be doing much, but as I'm getting the ribs ready, you can see what he wanted to do. So he's been bugging me, Dad, can you pull the trailer around? I want to split this wood that's in front of the house. So I thought I would just leave this on for you guys, let you watch him for a little bit. So we are at the 3-hour mark for the ribs. So it is time to wrap the ribs. The internal temp of the shoulder is sitting at 147, so we're not too far away from that 160 mark. And of course, it's just starting to drizzle a little bit on us. I'll show you guys what the ribs look like. So I like to coat my ribs in some squeeze butter, some honey, and brown sugar. So if how much sugar in your system is a problem, you probably shouldn't eat my ribs, because probably going to throw your numbers off. Hope you guys kind of like the video of the chicken whisperer over there splitting wood. Boy loves to split wood when he's with me, man. I think he just, anything that he can do with me when I have the kids is what he wants to do, doesn't matter what it is. And I like to just throw a little bit of apple juice on it just to mix it all together. So the ribs will go back in for roughly about 2 hours or so. My temperature's been doing pretty good. I haven't really jumped over anything over 250. So been keeping it nice and low and slow. And that's what these things like. So chances are, the way they feel right now, 2 hours wrapped will be perfect. And then hopefully the shoulder will be right where we need it to be. So I'll do a little up close shot of the shoulder and the other 2 racks of ribs. So it should be some good eating for later on. So stay tuned. So here I forgot to hook my microphone up. So we are at the point where we're at the 2-hour mark for having the ribs wrapped, and I'm unwrapping the ribs. I was really happy with the results of these ribs. You'll see as I go to pick these up, I'll start doing the bend test to them. So when you do the bend test, what you're looking for is make sure they're not, the meat's not tearing away from the bone. It has a bend to it, but it's not breaking. These ribs, in my opinion, were probably some of the best ones I've done. And you'll kind of see as I go through this, as I pick this up. Right here, it's got a bend to it, but it's not ripping, it's not tearing. So at this point, we'll just go ahead and throw them right back on the smoker. And I'll go ahead and put the other 2 racks of ribs on there. The internal temp of the pork shoulder at this point was about 175 degrees. So really, at this point, everything was going the way that I wanted it to. It's probably one of the best cooks that I've had in a very long time. A lot of times with this Brinkmann Trailmaster, it can be very temperamental, but for whatever reason today, everything just really gelled and worked the way I wanted it to. So I'll just kind of let you guys watch this the rest of the way and just keep following along. All right, let's go ahead and sauce these ribs up. Looking pretty good. It's about a half an hour from being done. And actually, I could probably pull these ribs off now. We'll sauce them up for about 15 minutes or so. The shoulder is sitting at 195, so really by the time I pull these off, everything should be done. So I timed that just about right. As I said before, I like using a smaller pork shoulder, especially because it's only going to be for me, and 5 pounds is plenty enough for sandwiches and stuff through the week. Knowing Chicken Whisperer, he'll eat one of these whole racks by himself. Lily Tamer will eat some too, but she doesn't like ribs as much as that boy does. That boy will tear some ribs up. That's all he's been talking about today. The rain has picked back up here, so it was a good thing we moved everything in. Alright, so we'll let that rest, and chances are, by the time the shoulder is done, the rib should be done. It is time to pull everything off. Shoulder just hit 200. The ribs are done. So we will pull everything off. As you can see, ribs got a nice bend to them, but they're not breaking. Oh yeah. These are probably some of the best ribs I've done in a while. Just saw some of these ends a little bit while it's still hot. The end that I couldn't really get to when it was in the smoker. And as I said in the beginning of this, everybody does barbecue a different way, and here's the way I look at it. As long as it tastes good to you, who cares what method you used or what you did? You hear people all the time just bashing people on YouTube and Facebook and all that, saying they don't know what they're doing. The way I look at it, if it tastes good to you and your family or friends or whoever you're making it for, I really don't care what anybody else thinks. They're not the ones that are out there getting up early in the morning and starting fires and doing everything. I guess I'll peel this back so you can see what this shoulder looks like. Oh, yeah. I think Dad's going to eat good for lunch this week. So we'll close that back up, let it rest a little bit. And then I'll cut these ribs up and see what my critics think about them. Taste test. Ready? Think it was worth the wait? Yeah. Pretty good. What do you guys think? Some juice there. Peel right off the bone pretty good. Lily Tamer, you want to jump in here or you just want to be the camera girl? Oh, look, she's looking. Come over here and sit next. Take a bite in front of everybody. Make sure you're in the camera.
Lily, make sure I'm in the camera.
All right, so I hope you guys like this little video. This was just something fun to do. Emmett wanted some ribs for today for doing all his hard work and splitting wood the last 2 days. So if you like what we're doing here, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow us along.
And would you like to see all the wood I split?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the next video we do will show all the wood that Chicken Whisperer over here has been splitting because he has been non-stop this weekend. So thanks for your time, and see you guys on the next one.